guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hate Journals. It is your girl Black Mamba, and of course, the wonderful AP. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm better now.
Oh, shit.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
Tuesday, but feels like it's, I don't know, Hell Week.
You know, I'm coming off of a really fun travel trip with my husband.
P.S. looked so much fun. I
Seattle's
sent your husband
a 10 out of 10 experience.
Yeah.
We had a blast.
Yeah. You look like you guys had so much fun.
Yeah.
Truly. You guys look like you had a blast.
We really, really did, I gotta say.
I was very jealous. And I told your husband so.
Ooh, yeah.
I was like, don't get it twisted.
Jealous.
I should be there. Mm-hmm. So
no, I know.
I want you to know that I should be there, but I can't be because this is a thing and I get that. I know boundaries.
Well, not only that, it's like that was the perfect number. It was me, him, and his best friend and his wife. And then we did have a Seattle local be able to join us for a couple of things.
Oh, nice.
But it was really the reservation. Because like when I travel in groups, I like to like roll like 10 deep. It's just, you know.
Yeah, we have a big problem with that.
But, you know, pandemic and reservation limitations, it's like, why are you going to travel to a city and not sit together?
That makes
Can't
no
do
sense.
Won't do it.
Because I will yell across the restaurant to you.
Yeah. And that's probably.
Until they get so annoyed. They're like, you know what? Get together.
Yeah.
You are so annoying.
Yeah.
Just get over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a really uneventful weekend. I worked on the podcast. And that was my entire weekend. And I didn't feel bad about it because the one day I decided to leave the house, it was so cold and it invoked such anger in my soul and I mean instant rage.
Yeah.
I stepped a toe out and the rage I felt. I told my therapist, I almost didn't make it here. I'm not going to lie to you. I almost said, can we Zoom? This weather's bananas. She's like, the sun's out. Not the point. It is freezing.
Yeah.
When is summer going to get here?
Yes. I feel like that even getting out today, coming in here, it was like a gorgeous day. Jumping out of my car just to make it to your door was the irrational rage that I did fear.
You had every reason to have that irrational fear.
When it hits, it's so hard here.
It's just so hard.
Immediate anger.
And we have such a beautiful city that when the sun is out and it is truly just beautiful.
To correlate it with good times and not hateful thoughts.
And I had told you, I said, you're like, what are you doing this weekend coming up? And I said, I'm going to work in the backyard. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get it ready. A lot of plans. And then Mother Nature was like, oh, I see you. I hear you. How about go fuck yourself?
No. Yeah.
Very enraged. Mm-hmm. So that is how I spent my weekend, just doing a lot of stuff. But it was a good, productive weekend. I do enjoy weekends like that because I know in the summer I'm like dialed out. Yeah. I'm like, I want to do a few things, and those few things are hang out with my friends, hang outside in my backyard, watch a little TV.
100%.
Trash TV, relax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. But you guys look like you had so much fun. I definitely had friend envy, but it was good friend envy. Yeah, I know. It was the hub's birthday.
I was blown away, you guys. If I can just give you some hot tips real fast.
Please do.
There's some certain tourist things when you go on a trip where you're like, why the did I do that?
Right.
Like, tourist trap. The Space Needle of Seattle
is so much fun.
Is one of the coolest things I've actually ever experienced.
The ride up is a trip, but when you get up there, you're like, holy crap.
My God.
It's fun.
It was stunning. Like,
was that your first time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not my first time to Seattle, but the first time really doing like
to the Space Needle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Just unbelievable.
Did you get to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Did they have that open?
No, so that's the kind of stuff. We did do the public market, which I mean, it's
so much fun.
It's so cute and fun, but like for me, I'm not really like a shopper.
Yeah, but I mean like for the food. I'm all about the food.
Right. And it's just like so interesting in like those mass markets because like the fun thing is waiting in line with like a bunch of dirty other people and like not being weird.
Right.
So food scenarios there weren't, like it's still pandemic phasing in, right?
Right.
But yes, beautiful flowers, just like the whole experience. Space Needle, 10 out of 10. You guys, there's a public park that we were able to just go to a local brewery, grab some beers to go, and we sat at this park, you guys, and we just chatted and watched the boats go by. And
did you say hi to Meredith and Derek? Did you check in on Grays and see how they were doing?
I did not check in on Grays. Okay. I'm a little out of touch with Grays. Okay. It used to hold a very special place in my heart. As of late, I can truly say it does not.
There are some shows, much like General Hospital, that you could turn it on and I am picking right back up where I left off.
And I think too, I really do think this, like, for those shows to hit different on you, I feel like, and it's a huge demographic, but I feel like you need to work in medical.
Yes. Right? I had someone say to me once.
It's kind of like fun and edgy because like the dynamics and everything. Yeah. Because for me, I'm just like a fucking citizen, a civilian, watching hospital people fucking chat. Right. Ooh, and then they fucking in the closet, which again is hot to the general public, obviously. Right. But some of it, I'm just like, don't get it.
Someone asked me once, they said, I mean, Grey's Anatomy is so it's not even real. That doesn't happen in hospitals. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. That doesn't happen in hospitals at all.
I've heard the hard facts.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. People be fucking.
Yeah, it's like...
People be hooking up.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen Tortuga in Pirates of the Caribbean? That's what the fucking hospital's like.
Well, it's like, have you ever worked in a restaurant or like a clothing store? You know, if you've ever worked at either or a bar or something, you're like, oh, shit gets wild with staff.
Did you just compare a service industry to a retail store? Because I will tell you, I've worked in both, and the most mundane job I've ever had was folding jeans at Dillard's and then being like, bye, Sandra.
Well, because Dillard's isn't fun. But if you worked at like a Hot Topic or something when you were in high school with like
I'm
other...
Sure that's different, yes.
You know?
Like other teenagers?
Yes.
Who you were... anyway?
Yeah. So, like, you start to elevate it up, and then you get into the bar scene, and then you elevate to your job. Nothing changes. When you put a group of people together...
Yeah, that's true.
Who come from all different backgrounds, no matter what, shit's going to get dicey.
I did work at Costco, as you all know, for a brief stint.
Yes.
Terrible review. I did do that. And I will say that was one of the nastiest.
Like how Costco has never emailed us, I am still shocked about.
Well, it's because I'm the only one in the U.S. who leaves bad Costco reviews.
Yeah, and you literally do it on your own show. You're like, you know what? Horrible place.
Yeah, it is a terrible place.
I do love Costco, though. But can I tell you something about Costco?
Follows up. People think it's like a weekend vacation.
Can I tell you the one thing, though, I don't understand about Costco?
Sure.
Savings aren't that great.
No. If you got 100 of anything, it's going to add up.
It's going to add up.
Yeah.
Smart and Final is like actually better to me because they have bulk shit and they give you like really great prices for what you get. And I don't have to.
The only place that actually gives you great prices is Winco.
Oh, Winco be killing it.
You have to brave it because there's like definitely certain aspects that's like a no thank you. Yeah. I get that. Costco, yeah, it's a shithole. I don't know what else to say.
Can I tell you, I did not experience or know about Winco until my adult life, like a year and a half ago. So I didn't off the map for me, like a ghost. And then all of a sudden it manifested. When I tell you, I look forward to going to Winco. I look forward to the people experience.
Look forward to going to like the insane racks of Macy's that the average person finds like wildly overwhelming.
Oh, you mean like when there's stuff shoved in?
Shopper.
Yes, I am.
I'm like a thrifter, like a treasure seeker.
Okay.
But like sometimes like I know you like get off on the bargain.
Oh.
So of course Winco would be your jam because like when I'm going
love
to
a good bargain story.
I'm in a jam.
Yeah, I like a good bargain story. I like to be like, ask me where I got these.
Yes, like you're very much that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is very much my jam. I'm very much into it. I take pride in it, if you will. And it's not that I'm frugal. I just know there are some things I am willing to spend a wild amount of money on. And there are some things I'm like, honey, if I can get this on a budget, you better watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food, I mean, it's so hard because it like we consume it and it's like you are what you eat essentially, whether it's like carcinogens or fucking calories, right?
Whatever, yeah.
So that one's in between for me because I'm just like, you just shit it out anyways. Like, what's the difference between Kraft and Annie's Organic?
Exactly.
So
That's it.
I vibe in with that.
Yes.
And then I got a kook husband who like feels very differently. So
It depends on what it is. It depends on what it is.
It doesn't matter if I'm eating, drinking, if I'm at a water park, if I'm at fucking Mexico. Like for me, an atmosphere is everything.
Yes. And also the people. Like there's a lady at Chili's, the one over by the mall and by Meadowood Mall. And when I tell you, I go there with another friend of ours. And when we go there, I always go, I couldn't tell you her name, by the way. If you put a gun in my head right now, we're all dead.
Yeah.
She sees me. She always knows I'm probably not having the best week. She will every time go to the little hostess lady, and the hostess will come out with free chips and salsa every time. Every fucking time.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I always know when she comes over, she's going to be spicy. She's going to tell me a story I didn't ask about, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like when people are like, homie, but just like they know their zone, right?
Yeah.
She's not like trying to get my phone number. She's not trying to hang out on the weekends.
Well, I hope not.
We've become rather close over the past couple of years.
Well, maybe you do.
But I really do. I like her. I enjoy seeing her. She makes my day better.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the service
into
industry, and you know, it's a fun thing you can honestly say too is like working in the service industry for a really long time. I used to love seeing my regulars. Mm-hmm. Like, love it. Did I want to hang out with you on the weekends and stuff? No, but like, did I notice you come in that week for 1 or 2 days and know that that hour and a half was going to be better?
Yes.
1000%.
And I also enjoy, like, those people, I think your regulars don't really know how much they do influence your life, because I would go home and I would talk about regulars to a boyfriend or whatever.
If they've never been in the service industry.
Yes, 1000%. I think it's good for everyone once in their life to work in the service industry so that you kind of understand.
Absolutely required to pick up cups, napkins, shitty, offensive comments, and really understand what it's like to serve the general public.
Yes.
Like, that is a mandatory job that my sons will have.
I absolutely
agree. It truly
agree.
teaches you how to treat people.
It really does. It really does teach you how to treat people. And if you're smart enough and if you listen enough, it's really cool to hear people's stories. Because it's wild what people will tell you when you're in a vulnerable state. And I know people don't think that like eating is vulnerable. It is. To sit in a restaurant and have other people watch you eating, drinking,
with
it's pretty vulnerable.
Guaranteed sober on the other side.
I mean, come on.
That's pretty risky.
And you always start with, I'll have a Merlot. And then by the end, you're like, shots for everybody.
Yeah.
And you're like, goddamn, Sandra's
and then you get
up.
to know me well enough, and then you're like, fuck it, just start with a shot.
Right. Who are we kidding, Sandra?
Yeah,
you always start with a Merlot.
Yeah.
Come on. I told you it's a screw top. There's nothing great back there.
Yeah.
Let's get you some Patron.
Yeah.
Let's get this party started.
Yeah. Let's just get the pleasantries.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that is definitely...
Why would you say Hell Week? What happened?
It was just, I didn't get a lot of sleep because I was so busy this weekend. And I am the kind of person, and I think you and I are pretty similar. If I start working on something and I'm in it, and I'm like, fuck, it's midnight. Fuck, it's 1. Damn it, it's 3.
I used to be like that.
Yeah. Well, you bibbies.
Now I'm like, fuck, it's
8:30. You wake up.
Where am I?
Where am I? What's going on?
Every time I look at my husband,
yeah, no, I was
me.
all
You
weekend.
alive?
What's going on over there?
Yeah.
And I think it was just, I had a very strange week. And we're only into a few days into the week. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we get into the week. Yeah.
I'm really hoping.
Hit different.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So a couple of things that I wanted to share with you. One, I am going to share this because I do think it's actually rather important. So you guys all know that I'm having breast reduction surgery at the end of the month. And so I had to get,
Bye, tatas.
Bye, tatas. Bye. And so I had to have a mammogram.
Okay.
They wanted to make sure it's shit I ate before we go in there. Nobody wants to open a ticking time bomb,
For sure.
So obviously I'm not at the age yet where where they are like, okay, you should get it done every year. So I went in and had a mammogram. I went to the Renown off of Sierra Rose, and I got to tell you, the tech was amazing. She just was so great. made me feel so comfortable. I was a little bit nervous. I mean, you always are doing that kind of thing just because you don't really know what to expect.
Could be a real wild card.
Yeah, and I work in medical, and I still have never had my tits smashed, so I'm like, what's this going to be like? And she was so great. She was like, first, I just want to say, this isn't like what you've heard from your grandmother and your mother. Like, it's really not painful. And it wasn't. She made me so comfortable. It was so quick. I think it took maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes. So anyways, obviously, I'm not a great patient person sometimes when it comes to those things. So the minute I could get those results back, I got them. And it was like, hey, girl, so your breast be hella dense. Like, you don't have any fat in there. It's just dense ass breast tissue. And so the report was like, well, I mean, I don't think we saw anything. So, like, it looks all right.
All right.
You look okay. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're fine. Like, they used, I think it was heterogeneous dense breasts. So I looked it up and I like Googled. I was like, oh, okay, it's all right. And then my doctor was like, oh no, like, you should still get another test. There's another test, a specialized test, which I didn't know.
Yes.
It's like 4 out of 10 women have extremely dense breasts.
Same.
And they were like, so, I mean, you should definitely he was like, you should have been getting a mammogram all along because they're so dense. If there was something there, a normal mammogram is not going to see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I mean, obviously,
I've actually heard about this. It's really funny that we're talking about this. My husband's director, she runs a nonprofit back to bikinis or something local. We'll have to tag it. And it is specifically for women with dense breast tissue where it was missed.
Really?
Yes. Like,
really?
Specifically to that.
Yeah, and this test, I'll have to get the name of it and I'll put it in the description so everyone can see it. But it was like, oh no, this is like a thing with women who have
that's really
big
funny.
Breasts.
Oh yeah, me. I have. They've said that I will need that second test because I have dense breast tissue, which I will say is a negative as far as cancers go. That's like the whole trigger here.
And heaviness.
Yes. But also, I will say after breastfeeding 2 children, you guys. Not for long periods of time, but just in general. Like, mama's still,
Yeah, because you don't have any real fat in there. It's more just breast tissue from what I understand.
Right.
And so you're not getting that flat pancakey kind of look because it's so much tissue.
Yeah. So I still have, like, pretty cool tits.
Yay.
I'm just saying, I've seen the fucking, like, aftermath, and it's...
Oh. Like, whenever you hear women go, you don't know what's going on underneath this sweater. I'm like, well, what is going on?
And then you find out.
And you're like, oh.
Not great.
And then you kind of feel bad. You do feel bad. And I do understand why some women are like, I am not breastfeeding. I do get when women are like, no, thank you.
Yeah, yes.
And I think that's how they do feel. Because they're like, you'll get skinny.
But like, especially now.
Oh, yeah.
It's really fucked up, you guys. I mean, I'm sure I would probably venture to say at least 70% of our listeners know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then the others, just keep on keeping on. You're not missing anything.
Yeah. I think it was very interesting. And I've had 2 patients that they experienced a similar way of being diagnosed, which was they had very dense breast tissue. And so, of course, by the time it was caught, it was stage 3 or stage 4, which is super scary. So I wish there was a little bit more education about that because I just would have never...
They're just now starting. I've really, yes.
I just would have never really have known. And she was
now
like...
you gotta go back?
So I have to go back. And the interesting part is insurance won't cover it. So, I'm writing a letter to somebody.
Twice as likely.
But
you're going to really need to have to take that out.
I like how the insurance is like, okay, look, he said you were probably okay. Don't be so dramatic. Someone's being dramatic again. Drama much? Yeah, I was like, wait, how are they not covering this? At all. Ever. Yeah, they were like, it's a specialized ultrasound that hovers over your tit. And we don't, by the way, you should definitely get it, but also... Go fuck yourself. Budget. We don't cover it. They're like, do you have some savings? are you going to be getting a stimulus check? You might want to use that for this because
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to see the plastic surgeon and just be like, well, I mean, you're in there, so just tool around.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was
Don't
very
love
interesting. So if you have dense breasts or you think you have dense breasts, ask your doctor, because if I would have known that a few years ago, I definitely would have been getting tested had I realized. I mean, I had the genetic testing and all that to make sure that I wasn't predisposed to it, but it still would have been nice to have someone say to me, hey, you probably should definitely get this test done.
Yeah, 110.
It's definitely important.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it is kind of funny we're talking about that, you guys. This is, if you got like those thick titties and you know,
you got thick, you know,
like if you've ever been like, oh, like if you've woken up and you slept on one side too long and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, you know, like if you wake up and a titty's in the kitchen, like that shit is dense.
It is.
That dense, is very like, it's light, oddly enough.
Well, and then I was reading it, and I was reading in the Mayo Clinic, and it was like going over kind of the folks who have more dense breast tissue, and it was just like, you tend to have a small waist, and you tend to have a very good shape. And I was like, yes, I do.
Check.
Thank you.
Check.
That's so weird, Mayo. Are you looking over my shoulder? Thanks, Mayo. Yeah. So anyways, that was my week, but it wasn't bad. It was just different. Yeah. I tend to get a little bit stressed out when I have to take a lot of time off of work. I'm one of those people that like can't just take time off.
Yeah, I think that's like unfortunately fucking like 80% of us. And the other 20% who can just like take time off, they're not like the work-life balance ones. They're like the fucking people who fuck you all the time.
They really are, because I have a hard time being like, I'm going to leave for 2 weeks and no stress over here, honey. No, I am like
stressed.
Waking up in the middle of the night being like, don't forget to do this.
Yeah.
And it's not a controlling thing. It's just...
Well, it's because you care. I think with us, you have certain patients, and I have a certain clientele, and it's like you end up developing very intimate relationships with these people, and it's not just like one person. Like, you don't want to let down like an entire fucking book of people.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. So, I'm working on it, and, you know.
And in my case, I can be like, sometimes it's just hair. In your case, not. So that's also
a bit different. Just... a little, just a tad different.
This is like quality,
Yeah.
Intense,
Yeah, so it was interesting that we were talking about service industry, because funny enough, I came home on Wednesday of last week or Thursday, and my husband said, he's cracking himself up upstairs. Sometimes I like when my husband's like giggling to himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on up here? I mean, I have read something that has made me laugh, but I typically am not an audible laughing kind of person. Unless I'm with you and we're like talking about something funny, obviously I'm not a sociopath. But I typically, even if I'm watching a funny show, it takes a lot to get me to laugh out loud. Yes, doesn't mean I don't think it's funny.
Yeah, I'm in there.
I'm in there. It's up here. I just don't feel the need to let it out. And so I kind of went up the stairs. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh my God. If you heard the story, it's making national news, and it's about Reno. And I was like, God damn it, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Like, damn it. It's never for something good. Rarely are we in the news and they're like, guess who's saving camels? Guess who's got fucking opening their casino up to the homeless? No, sometimes we can be real pieces of shit here. So I knew, and we're a 24-hour town, so that's not lost on me, why sometimes we find ourselves in these predicaments.
Yeah.
Normal towns that go to sleep at 9 and close down at 10 don't have these same problems. But we are a 24-hour town, so we tend to get in a little bit of trouble every once in a while.
Absolutely.
So I was asking him what he was laughing about, and he said there was a restaurant in town that is known for going wildly out of their way to balk back at folks who have left Yelp reviews.
Okay, so I obviously know the topic now that we are talking about, but I think we should give our listeners an opportunity.
I mean,
before we share the story. Now, you guys, we are going to link the article, obviously.
Yes.
Secondly, I just think I want this open to interpretation, because even though I can hands down, before the story even can say I disagree with the clapbacks, if you will.
Yeah.
of this said person. I do want you guys to hopefully write in and send us your interpretation of like what people and where your rights should lie within this scenario. So keep an open mind as you hear this story. I mean, a lot of us are already gonna know where we lie on it. I mean, hopefully. But I want to hear your honest feedback about this.
Yes.
Okay,
so
I just really wanted to set that precedent.
And actually, I mean, it's okay, so
but that's fair, right?
No, 1000% it's fair. And I think obviously there's a reason why we're talking about it. I mean, typically, yes, there are things in our city that will make the news, but rarely are we making national news. And it's like, come on, guys, if we're going to make news, I want it to be like, especially national, I would like it to be for something good and not for us looking wild.
Well, right. I don't even know if good news really exists anymore. So let's give ourselves oh yeah. I very rarely crack open. No, every day when I look over, because who doesn't do this, right? We roll over, we grab our phone, right?
Yes.
To confirm what time it is, to see who is trying to immediately, for whatever fucking reason, get in contact with us.
Yes.
Like, bink, eyes open. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm just saying it is what it is.
Right.
So when I roll over, if there's nothing paralleled, like moms, family members, and everything,
yes.
I'm just confirming the time. Typically, I have about a half hour to kind of mosey awake, and I pop open, and it's just like 3 people dead.
Oh.
Fucking
yes.
cat killer on the loose. Pandemic, more dead. You're going to be shocked, more dead. Then it's like stimulus bill.
Yes.
Fucking people are bankrupting us. Republicans suck dick.
Yes.
Very rarely I haven't ever popped it open and it's just like, wow,
I see what you're
these
saying.
kids like set off this miracle train and now
yes.
hope
But
lives.
Typically, here's what I will say. When I log on to like Channel 8 here, it's very boring. Typically, we don't have a lot going on in our city, I guess is my point. We typically don't. It's usually a slow news day. It's slow news week. We don't have a lot going on here just because, one, we are a smaller town. And because of the pandemic, there's just not a lot of hustle and bustle out in the streets. So there really aren't a lot of stories. But if you're going to hear about anything, it's going to be a car pileup, the weather.
Yeah.
Or,
hot topic in Reno.
Right. Or, kids, something with kids. These kids are cutting school. Kids are whatever, that sort of thing. Typically here, we don't see too much wild ass shit. Yes, nationally, obviously. So when I do not turn on the news or read the news in the morning for that reason. But typically when Bill is like my anchor, so I go to him, I'm like, what's going on this week? What's going on today? You let me know what's going on. So when I read about it, I actually found it pretty funny because one, this all started from Yelp. Now, I actually do not give one, and I want to start out by saying that, one iota about fucking Yelp.
Same.
Okay? I don't give a fuck. Okay? This isn't about Yelp itself. I just don't give a fuck. I have my own brain and my own mind and my own thoughts, and I know that a dining experience, a hotel, a rental car experience, whatever it is, I am willing to look and make my own judgment call, go to said place based off of what you or someone has told me. Okay?
Yeah.
So there's a reason why I go to the same restaurants over and over again. Every once in a while, someone will say to me, have you been to da 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 da? And usually when they say that, they're real pumped. Right? They're like,
yeah,
bitch, have you been to?
Yes.
And that lets me know by the expression in your eyes. That's all I need to know, right? And so when someone says, we should try something new, I go, yeah, someone told me about such and such place. We should go. However, I do understand there are people who live in this world who are very indecisive, right? When it comes to restaurants or bars, they have a very hard time making that leap. And obviously that's why Yelp exists. Now, I personally enjoy going on to Yelp, Craigslist, Misconnections.
Ooh, I do like to peruse. Haven't done it in a while, but I used to.
I just did it this last weekend. It was great. I like doing those things because I find it hilarious the way that people interact with one another and are willing to sign their name to something that sounds insane. My mother, my therapist, my teachers, ex-boyfriends of my husband have always said, hey, if you're upset about something, write it down, put it down. 2 days later, go back and read it. And if you still feel as passionately right now as you did back then, hit send.
Yeah.
Right? That's a good rule of thumb with friends, maybe
Totally.
who make you upset, or relationships.
Totally.
That's how I've lived my life these 38 years. So I like to see how petty people are all of the time. I mean, it brings me such joy.
You do have a fetish for it.
Oh, I love a petty story. However, I do believe that there is a fine line between being petty and when you watch an adult have a meltdown.
Yes.
Now, those are actually the things that I find the funniest.
Yes.
There's a show, I don't know if you've ever watched it. It's on True TV. It's called Court Cam.
No. See,
Never watched it.
Me and you have, you're like a Married at First Sight, what is it? Obviously 90 Day, big fan,
Yeah, you watch your
Housewives
mouth.
of
You
Atlanta.
watch it.
No, I'm just saying like these are the things that
Yes.
you're drawn to, which I know a lot in that. But do you know what I popped on yesterday? This is just going to speak volumes about
Okay.
where we're at.
Let's get down this road.
Where my husband was like, what the actual fuck is going on?
Okay.
I because I like searched it and then hit full send, like season 1, episode 1.
Boom,
and
boom.
it was called Cajun Justice.
Ooh. Was it on the ID channel?
It's on A&E.
Oh, it's on A&E. Okay. Cajun Justice. I'm already into it. Sounds like it's got a bit of a spice to it.
I have literally a fascination, you guys, with swamp people.
Oh, you really
You
do.
know how I
it's
get.
out of control.
When it's like the deeper the south it gets,
The bigger the draw, you are hook, line,
like
and
you
sinker.
guys, I'm like a catfish, if you will. Just and
Battered
when
and
I'm
baked.
watching them, because I mean, Cajun Justice, it says it all. So like
Right.
that's what when I'm watching my trash television. Like if I'm watching two people in love, I'm like, nah,
No thanks.
no, or like
Happiness?
90 Day
No
Fiancé,
way.
and they're just like, look, no, like I'll try and get in it.
Yeah.
No. I watched 4 episodes back to back. I had children to watch, and I was like, "Nope, Cajun Justice
You're like,
for
get
me."
your own fucking ball.
They actually had a guy. This is in real life. This real
Yeah.
time now exists.
Right.
He's called the Alligator Nuisance Man.
One more time?
Did you not get that? It was called the Alligator Nuisance Man. Because you know why? Because my daddy was a nuisance man, and my uncle is a nuisance man. I'm a nuisance man, my brother, and my cousin. We are the alligator nuisance man, and we come and we take that alligator, and sometimes, if he bad, I'd be pop in the head. You gotta go. Sometimes if I slipped up on his head, I can put him in the truck. That was actually, I know. You're impressed.
That was actually a really good accent.
I nailed it.
Nailed it. I've never even watched the show. Feel like I just watched it. I feel like I just fucking watched
I love it because my daddy said, what? How is this not national news?
But you know what? Again, it's interesting to see that he has watched back at least one of these episodes, right? He has friends, he has family members. They know what he sounds like. He realizes he sounds very different than everyone else. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say this show is a little bit wild. It's got a little bit of an extra.
I'm hooked. Like, it is my Monday treat for sure.
It is interesting to watch people in just their natural habitat in life.
Yeah.
But then there is times when like court, because there's some things that are so cringeworthy, even I can't watch them, but like court TV as an example, or court cam, it is interesting to watch like, a lawyer get into a fight with a judge, or, and the one judge told the one guy, the one lawyer, he goes, "Oh, you want to take this shit outside, bitch? Let's take this shit outside, bitch. Let's go outside, bitch."
Yeah, they're all
and I was
only
like,
human.
And I was like, sir, you are at work.
Elected official.
They went outside and got in. You can hear them off camera getting into a physical fight into the hallway. Like,
Wait. Was this on Cajun Justice?
right? So you saw that episode too. It's wild to me
that
that
was a
like
crossover collab. If you will.
the judge obviously knows there's a camera in the room, right? And you would think that would be enough for me and you. That would have been enough to go, all right, I'm losing my temper here. We're gonna break. Let's come back in a minute. But whatever happened that day, he felt like, let's take it in the street, bitch. So my point in saying that is, it is interesting and fascinating to watch people melt down, because I really do find it very interesting how you got to that point.
Yes.
Where I have the issue with this particular gentleman and this Yelp issue, and we're going to get down that road, is that, again, this is written stuff. This isn't like you and I got into a fight. You're in front of me. I want to fuck you up. I get that. I get someone pushing all of your buttons to the point in front of you in the heat of the moment where you're like, I'm going to fucking put my hands on you.
Yes.
I get that.
Yeah.
Is it right? No. But do I get it? Very much so.
Very much.
Do I understand why you, as a grown ass man, pays taxes, fills up your own gas tank, you know where to get the best bananas, why you then would act wild in a place where you live? Your kids go to school, your wife or significant other has to be out in the world as well. When I leave my house every day, I represent my husband. I represent Keek. I represent this household. So my actions directly relate to my husband.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I expect when Bill leaves this house, if he comes home and tells me he lost his shit on someone, it better be for a good fucking reason. If he's like, well, he took my parking spot.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I'm
and
gonna
now
be like,
we have to go to court for what?
Like, I'm sorry, what? So you choked some
lawyer? Why?
You choked some old man out over the last plastic bag in Save Mart, right? There's a time and a place.
Yes.
So when Bill told me about this, I was like, all right, I'm going to go read the article. And I love This Is Reno. And they usually do a pretty good job of just staying very neutral, just telling you the facts, not putting their opinion into it. So I went in, I read the article, and I died. First of all, I read it the first time and I laughed. Now, when I say I laughed, I was not laughing at the comments. I was actually laughing because in my brain, I could see this grown man, like gray hairs in your balls.
Yeah.
Fucking an arthritic knee.
Yeah.
I could see him in my brain. Never met this man in my life.
Yeah.
Having a full fucking mental breakdown.
Just pitching a fit.
Just not gonna stand up.
Just pitch a fit.
I could see it happening, right?
Yeah.
So then I read it a little bit longer, and then I went back and I thought a couple days later, and I thought, okay, let me go on to actual Yelp. Let me go through, because obviously when this sort of thing happens, Yelp, if you don't know, they stop all comments. No one's allowed to comment anymore, not on either side. And let's just see what happened. Now, initially, even reading this, I thought it was maybe a couple of people, just one or two, and maybe there was some comments before what was on the article, and I'm missing some part of the story. So I went back, I read through them. All of them. Every fucking last one of them. And I mean, the good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones.
Detail-oriented.
It was interesting to me because when I was reading them, the comments the people that he was responding to, the feedback was not personal.
And by the way, just to clear this up, this is the owner of the restaurant.
This is the owner of the restaurant. So I'm going to give an example.
Reviews.
I'm going to give an example, and I'm not going to cite This Is Reno. I'm not going to, this is just off my memory. This is what I read. I sat down, I had a cocktail, I hadn't drank it yet, so I was very clear-minded, okay? Mm-hmm. And this gentleman basically said, hey, listen, I made a reservation for 9 o'clock, okay? The night before, I got a text message that said, you coming still?
Confirming,
boo. And he was like, yeah, can't wait. Okay. The next day, the day of his reservation, he shows up. Honey, the lights are off and nobody is home. So he is very confused. So he's like looking around, doesn't see anyone. And his main thing was just like, dude, not cool. I just wish, like, I was looking forward to it. I just wish somebody would have told me the restaurant was closing.
Well, yeah, and from this place, like when you go into downtown Reno, sometimes it's not always easy to park. You might have made a trek in from the little surrounding areas. I mean, it's still Reno, still small, but either way, no matter what, nobody likes going to run a fucking errand and like the doors are locked. It's a piece of shit move.
Actually, I've actually become almost hysterical where I've like jiggled the door, like I don't know. I'm like, I don't understand.
A few times, and then you go back in and try the door again.
I start peering in.
Back.
Yeah.
And then you come back. Oh, yeah.
You start calling because you know he called.
Ian and I get irate. We have a pizza shop right by our house, and we know they won't answer the phone half hour to closing. But it's a Sunday pizza. Sometimes you call late.
but you're open until, then you should say that. You should say we no longer take phone.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not the owners. It's like the fucking piece of shit.
The piece of shit kids that are there making your pizza.
You guys have no idea, you fuckers, how important that pizza is to me.
Well, and also, right, you don't know if, first of all, we're in a pandemic. You don't know someone's what their fiscal situation is. So they could have saved up money. They could have been looking forward to this. Truly, and if you're married, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You could have had a new baby. This is your first time out of the house. Your marriage could not be going great. And so you're trying to maybe do a date night or make up for something.
With
light stressors. But you're trying to go out and enjoy your evening.
Totally.
The restaurant or the place that you're visiting, they don't know the backstory. And us as married women, we know there's a lot of things in the background.
I think you're explaining this too much. If I fucking confirm my reservation and you're closed, I'm fucking pissed.
No, my point is that when I'm going to get to his answer to what he said, my point is you never know why someone's going in to begin with.
Sure.
So your overreaction, you're not even stopping to write it down, stop, put it away, think about it, and go, okay, well, I can see why this dude is pissed. Maybe he's been looking forward to this shit for a month.
Yeah.
Maybe my food is so bomb, bitch, that you've been waiting so long, and then when you showed up, you were so fucking bummed out of your mind that you were like, dude, I'm just letting you know. So the guy wrote the review just as I basically said it. He was not like, fuck you, motherfucker, I fucking showed up and the homies weren't rolling in. Like, he didn't fucking spray paint the windows. He didn't fucking get his dick out and start pissing on the fucking door. He didn't take a shit on their fucking drive. Like, he just was like, yo, bro, not cool.
Yeah.
This motherfucker responded by calling him a fucktard. Hey, you fucktard. I'm sorry. Do you not fucking realize we're in a fucking pandemic, you fucking window licker? Yeah, sometimes we're slow and we shut down early. And the guy was like, okay, I get all of those things, but you could have called me and said, hey, we're shutting down early. I really apologize. Do you want to come in earlier? We will make room. We will make time. No, you were like, fuck off and die.
He actually called them window lickers.
And that's not the first. I mean, he has said some shit on this Yelp review that I will not repeat, and I have said a lot on this podcast. Okay,
you guys,
as to not offend anybody any further.
You guys, I did get to peruse it. You have to check the link out.
Yes.
I just think as locals, I just, I want to put it on blast. We're linking the article, but this is more so an episode about cancel culture than it is anything else. Because here's the one. It's actually, for me, it's not about, because here's my problem with the whole thing. So when they reached out to him and they said, hey, give your side of the story, let's hear about it. He went off in so many different directions. He talked about the fact that most of these people are from California. He talked about most of these motherfuckers being ungrateful. He called it he didn't call it cancel culture. He called it the woke culture. The woke culture. He kept saying woke. He said woke so many times it actually started to make me angry. I was asleep.
My point to all of this is,
woke
are
culture.
You fucking dumb? You must be fucking dumb.
Is that a real thing?
You must actually be fucking dumb to actually have a business where you think you can talk to people any fucking way that you want and still be a thriving fucking business. Now, again, it would be different if people were bashing him and being like, this motherfucker's stupid and I hope his kids fucking die. I get that. I do not understand as a grown man how you can throw a fit in public. Now, if he wants to say that to his wife or partner or whomever,
right,
and be like, fuck these motherfuckers, blah, 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 blah. We all do that, right? You get home from work or you get home from your fucking dog, whatever, and you're fucking to your partner, fuck these motherfuckers, I'll fucking light your house on fire. Fine. Right. But to go on a public, how stupid are you actually to think that people are going to continue to come to your restaurant, are going to continue to fucking support you? That's one. Number two, anyone who has ever owned any sort of business, especially a fucking restaurant, knows what's the number two job when you think of a restaurant owner? Not the people in it, but outside of it. Critics? People make a whole job of it.
Right.
They travel around. They actually are incognito so that they can come to your restaurant, review it, and tell you what they thought of it.
Right.
Yelp is, and I understand when business owners say, I don't like Yelp because it gives people who don't have taste, maybe they don't, whatever it is,
100%.
and they don't appreciate the food. I get that. I do. But when I hear someone say, I made a reservation for 9:00 and I showed up and this bitch was closed, and then you accost me, the difference between me and the gentleman who wrote that review is, I'm coming down to your restaurant.
Yeah.
You call me fucking names after you fucking already fucked me over once by fucking shutting down and not fucking telling me, and then have the nerve to fucking confirm, and then follow that up with the cherry of talking shit to me on a public platform. You must want me to come down there.
Yeah.
And now I want you to tell me to my fucking face.
Right.
I want you to tell me to my fucking face what the fuck you had to say on Yelp. When I was reading this shit, I could not fucking believe. He's telling people, come down here. I fucking want you. Say that shit to my face. First of all, as a restaurant owner, he's inviting it. You can't be so dumb as to think that when you hire employees, they're never going to make mistakes, right? You can't be in charge of everything. Right. You can't be in charge of everything. When you work at a restaurant and someone says to you, hey, listen, I got my food. It was cold. What do? You take it back there. You go, listen, bro. I know. So-and-so called in. These people don't know that. You've worked a double. But, bro, we can't have this shit. Or, as an owner, what do? You get your ass back there and you fucking hustle with your fucking line cook and you make fucking the best food that anyone's ever fucking tasted. Because at the end of the day, if I pay $26.99 and you pay $26.99 and your shit is bomb and my shit's not and you're making it my problem, you're out of your fucking mind. Right. Take some responsibility, be a grown-ass fucking adult, and stop throwing a fucking fit. Because you want to know what the most unattractive thing anyone's ever seen in a man is? A grown man throwing a fit.
Yeah.
I've never watched a grown man. Whenever you watch football and you see a coach in the sidelines and they're just losing their shit, got fucking headphones, and you're like, okay. Now you look like the crazy one, stupid. So even if you're right, even if you gave this great service, even if you closed at the right time, none of that matters because your behavior is so wild that now all we can all concentrate on is your outlandish behavior.
So for me, what it really actually comes down to, I hear everything you're saying, and I definitely agree 100% on the accountability portion, right? Instead of an apology, and you don't have to suck ass, all you have to do is write back and say, you know what, homie, that sucked ass, and why don't you come in and your first drink's on me?
Boom. Done and done.
But I just had to look up the woke culture. I get woke every day by different things.
Woke has nothing to do with...
I know. I just want to read it so he might... No.
Oh, okay. So okay. Thank you.
Is the alert to injustice in society, especially racism. Example, I don't love this one, but it says we need to stay angry and to stay woke.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So that's an example of that. Now, I don't know how the woke culture really ties into burgers and fries, but you know what? Sometimes we all put our foot in our mouth.
He used woke a lot. He used it, I think, 24 times or something.
So with this guy, this is the one thing, though. I worked for somebody, my very first job. Mm-hmm. I worked for somebody, and he was, without a doubt, one of the most horrendous persons.
Yeah.
Like, pretty stand-up business, like, fairly decent in that area. But, like, when he communicated with another person...
Yeah.
I would genuinely say the experience was poor.
Okay. And this was anyone?
I mean, yeah.
For the most part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd get a couple drinks in him after work, and he'd be a pretty cool guy, but...
sober, not fun.
The 8 to 5 grind, not his friend. With that being said.
Okay.
My whole point is like, back then, before Yelp... and all of these things, I think that existed, which lets me know he's probably an older gentleman because they were used to being able to say things like that and conduct business as usual.
Right.
Here's the thing, and I don't always agree with this, and I mean that. Here's the thing nowadays with things like Yelp and everything like this, you can continue to act however you want, whether that is an in-person interaction or via your responses to criticism via the internet. None of it's going away. None of it's going away. And however you want to say, you want to blame it on a certain culture, you want to do this, like your actions now, it's not just like an interperson thing where somebody gets their ticket and they think, wow, that guy was a dick. I'm never coming back here. And maybe they tell one or two people, right?
Right.
Like, about their experience, and then it kind of flutters off. Now, if you are going to embrace things like Yelp, meaning you made your little account so that you could clap back at these responses. I mean, these are on there forever.
Forever.
So as far as accountability goes, you have to understand this. Now, do I necessarily agree with things like Yelp on all fronts? Like, no, I think it's absolutely terrible that we have this cancel culture where you can just like label something in your mind and take it one way, and then you're going to just blast that. Now,
I agree.
I also think it's great when you can leave really positive reviews and like filter people into the right direction. But what does that even mean? I'm in a real existential crisis with this, to be honest with you. When they tried to pull Dr. Seuss off the books because they said it was
I had it.
Racist.
Right.
And I'm sure if we look at anything, I mean, if you look at the milk chocolate bar from fucking Hershey's, I'm sure we could cancel culture that. Is there more?
But then don't have a restaurant. Then go and stay home and work for somebody else and let them take the heat.
So that's my full purpose, you guys, is if you cannot come around, and I don't agree with cancel culture as a whole. I really don't.
Yes.
But
I don't think this is cancel culture.
No, but exactly. This is a story, you guys. Because that's where he's going to try and go. That's that's my opinion on this matter, is he's trying to pull it to this side like, oh my God, all these California people or all these window lickers, and that is being nice what he said. I 10 out of 10 recommend you just peruse this for a good laugh tonight.
He said to one lady, truth hurts, doesn't it, you douche?
He didn't even say he just said truth hurts, period, douche. Still gets me. But my whole point is that this is the world now. And if you want to run a business like a public restaurant, and it's going to have to go on the internet. I mean, we live in a tourism-based city. We live in now what is becoming very transient. You're going to want people to Google dinner tonight, good burgers, fries. Laugh about that later. And you want your business to pop up with addresses and phone numbers and maybe a website and a reservation system. And if you cannot handle criticism on any front, right? Maybe they're just like, overall food is dog shit. Like my dog actually walked in, took a shit on the plate, and then they handed it to me.
He was like, no, thank you.
Yeah. So hey guy, you gotta chill.
Hey bro, let's look right at the camera. Hey
guy.
Hey, I don't know what's going on at home. Okay.
No, I don't. I am sorry about the cancel culture thing. But
it's not about you. This isn't canceling you, but you're canceling yourself. You fucking idiot.
The whole fucking point of this is you are literally canceling yourself.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? Do you want to eat at my place? Well, you better fucking like it or I'll fucking call you a fucking cunt. Whoa.
Yeah.
I have the right to my opinion.
Yeah.
Be it good or bad. Now, I will say, like I said, if somebody would have left a comment and they were just like, you know, his wife's a stupid fucking slut. His eyes freak me out. The one waiter kept twisting his mustache in a very non-ironic way.
Right.
A lot of unsettling things. That's different. But if someone just goes, look, bro, I've eaten here 20 times and all 20 times they were good. This one last time it wasn't great, but I'm definitely going to go back again. I don't think that deserves somebody, because when I personally read reviews, if I do read a review, when I go, and the only time honestly I do read a review is Amazon.
100%.
Is usually Amazon. But can I be honest? If it's got 4.5 stars, I typically never read a review.
Same.
Now, if you have 3 stars and they're all 3 stars, I am going to go look at the reviews. And typically I go to the best one and then I go to the worst one and I see what's in between. Yeah. And I make my own decision.
And typically the worst one's like, I showed up and they didn't know what I wanted. And then I add my iced tea, and then I was mad.
Yes, right?
And because you're like, fuck you, I'm heading there.
Right. And that's the thing, is if you allow us, the person who's going
because
to go
my
to
daddy
your
was a
place.
Nissan man, and then I went down and I said it was a Nissan man.
I will pay you money to do that at the next restaurant we go to.
That's pretty good.
But you have to stay in character the entire time. I do not mind somebody obviously leaving a review, but there have been times when when I buy hair. So if you're a woman, you know this for a fact.
Products,
especially
me
extensions
and my husband
and shit.
had a very extensive conversation about reviews because it is really funny. We ended up having this because we did have a conversation about reviews, and I said I think the only time they're truly appropriate, like that's like reviewing food to me is like reviewing art. Like, what the fuck? I would buy there was one time where it was like Ian was telling me, he's at the Guggenheim, which is a very famous museum worldwide.
Yes.
And it was a white box with a orange circle in it, and all it said is, "This is art." Now, should we be open to review that? I mean, sure, right? But I say trash.
Right.
Another man's potpourri. With food, I totally agree too. There have been Michelin star restaurants that you have left hungry from.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And I don't know if that's just me being trash human, but I like Bill's Burger downstairs. I would take that 10 out of 10.
Right.
Food, art, creatives, right?
You have to let your
poetry,
you have to let your artwork
plays,
speak for itself.
Books, you guys know what I'm saying. I'm open to critics on all that stuff. But when it actually comes to brass tacks, does this cell phone work? I'm reading reviews.
That's it.
If I'm spending a G on this, technology is technology. It's like math. It's just it has to be one thing, right?
That's it.
So if we read it on Amazon and we're looking for a fucking new iPhone camera stand, and it's $6.99, you're ooh, and then it says 1 star. You're okay.
Right. It just blew right over.
Yeah.
Everyone's just it blew right over.
Different.
Not to mention, usually when you go to a place that's not great and they have a low star rating, everyone's reviews are exactly the same. They're I got sick.
Yeah.
My food was fucking cold.
Yeah.
Because truly to me, the only way you can fuck my meal is if my food is cold and you literally brought me the opposite of what I ordered. If I was just I want eggs, over medium, some rye toast, and a little bit of bacon. Yeah. And then it shows up and it's a burger, we got a problem, right?
Cool.
But for the most part, you and I have eaten almost anything.
Yeah.
We've also worked in kitchens before where you learn to eat on the move, eat on the fly. It's not that serious to me. However, if you give me food poisoning and I go back again and it's 2 years later and you give me food poisoning again, dude, I'm leaving you a review. Or if you scream at me, I don't know if you remember the guy who fucking told me he was going to charge me for the piece of paper to put my pickle on. And when I said, that's insane, he said, paper costs money. And I said, if you're in the sandwich game for paper, if paper's making or break you, you are doing something wrong.
You're in the red.
You're in the red, and that's not my problem, okay?
Yeah.
Shit that. But if you just have a regular ass restaurant, there's 2 things you do. You don't respond, or you apologize and move on. When you have an art form, we have a podcast. Now, if I directly offended somebody and they were just use language about my wife, me, my culture, whatever, I would be dude, I am so sorry. I would publicly come on here and I would apologize right then and there.
Yeah.
But if you tell me you just don't like hearing my fucking mouth, go suck a dick. And you know what I'm not going to do? Respond. Because why?
Dicks
you don't matter
ears.
to me. But I don't care, bro. I don't care anything about what you have to say.
Let the tongue out on that one.
I really got into it. Well, you got to have a lot of tongue if you're going to do the job.
100%.
I don't really give a fuck. But again, if I really offended someone or hurt someone, that's a different story. So I think you need to obviously learn to pick your battles. But to every single person who left a review, not all of them can be wrong. Not all of them are from California. Not all of them have the same orders.
Also,
not all of them have the same complaints.
When you are in a public service, meaning a restaurant, and you are dealing with the public, you do not get to speak. You have revoked your rights. Until somebody has physically attacked you or your property, you do not get to talk to people like that.
At all. Because where I'm from,
seriously.
hands.
Seriously, you do not get to speak to people like that. You are in the wrong line of work. If you hate people and their opinions so much, why don't you go be a fucking mortician?
Where your biggest client is quiet.
Or how about this? Go work in a nursing home. They'll eat anything.
Yeah, and they forget.
And I mean that
and they forget you were just there. Like, it's the perfect place for you.
Like, every meal is the first time.
Everybody in this world has a choice. Every person has a choice.
Yeah.
And my bigger point to all of this is I want people who are in the service industry, not regular ass people, every day. I don't care where you work or what you do. Remember something. You represent your family. When you chose to get married, have a relationship, have children, families, mothers, fathers, siblings who work in this community, who are dentists and doctors and lawyers. Maybe they work at the local lens club. It doesn't matter. When you have a family, you represent them when you leave your home. And the fact that you are in this world behaving this way and thinking and defending it for one moment. Now, have I lost my temper and said some shit I didn't mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Did I apologize? Yes. Because I also understand that my husband has a very good, big job in this community. And I would really hate one day, because it has happened. I will tell you, I will not repeat how it happened. But it happened to me when I was about 24 years old. And I had a person review something. And when they reviewed it, it was like just nice. And at the very bottom, they said, and I quote, "She is so wonderful with my aunt. I don't know how we could have gotten through this time without her. ... She also tried to fucking put her hands on my best friend in a bar over a fucking seat."
I could see it.
Well, obviously. I mean, when I was in my 20s, I was like, make the wrong move, bitch.
Yeah.
And that day, I will never forget it. I still think about it to this day. That was a changing benchmark for me. It truly was. So this isn't me judging him. This is me saying, I do understand, but the difference between me and this person is that I was 24 years old. I was a young woman who hadn't learned enough yet, didn't have enough experience under her belt. I wasn't a 50, 40, 30. I'm not me now. At some point, you need to do better and learn better. And I learned in that moment, that was a hard lesson, but that review still lives today. It's still out there in the world. And I know deep down, I was wrong. I was wrong. I can't be on Monday through Friday out here helping people and then on a Saturday fucking acting wild like an animal, right? Duh.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But obviously that takes growth, that takes learning, and wherever that came from, right? I had to go and deal with those issues, and I did do that.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm just saying at some point you grow up, take responsibility for your actions. Not everything can be everyone else's fault. And you represent your family members when you are in this world acting wild.
Or what about yourself? And I appreciate the family sentiment.
I'm just saying,
like,
though, if you don't care about
yourself,
you, fine.
Because
but
another thing, too,
couldn't
is
be
like,
my
hey,
husband.
let's just hit the brass tacks, too.
Brass
I love what you
tacks.
said.
Brass
hey,
tacks.
Guy.
Hey, guy.
Hey,
It's
guy.
us again.
It's not 1988 anymore.
It's not.
You cannot be running around saying these things. Like, people are going to shut you down. This is widely publicized. I'm sure you got a couple friends in your corner who are just like,
fuck them. Fuck them. Get new friends. Get new friends.
Get new friends.
Immediately.
Change your attitude. Maybe change the name. Put up that sign that says under new management.
Yes.
It's a lie. That's fine.
Right.
Go with that. And then, maybe some meditation. Maybe some ayahuasca.
Maybe a therapist.
Deep therapy, talk therapy, light therapy. I heard it's very, very helpful. But you running around acting like this in this day and age, like, I can't say it enough. It is not the wild, wild west anymore.
It's not acceptable. And I will tell you, you know how you can turn this around?
Talking to people like that and being a business owner in our community. And one thing I do appreciate with this, not cancel culture. I'm going to say that again. But one thing I do like about the This Is Reno article that they have done for you, Guy, is they have put you on blast, and this community will not tolerate people like that.
No, our community will not.
And I actually think that's really refreshing for me to hear.
It is.
Because even if somebody called you out and really got you bothered, 1 or 2 reviews, I could honestly bite. I would not be talking about you if this was 1 or 2 reviews. I got to tell you, because we all have bad days. We all clap back.
Yes.
We all, even like Black Mamba said, we all have one floating out there we don't like so much.
Yes.
And let me tell you this, though, that kind of behavior and being in a public setting, and like she said, on a public forum, it's just unacceptable. And I enjoy that when you act like that and you say offensive things, that in this community, we're going to blast you.
We're going to blast you. And I will say, now, you've got an opportunity here. We all have opportunities to make things right.
Yeah, apologize.
And what I would say, if it were me,
1 free day of food.
I would actually write a letter of apology to each of those individuals.
Yeah.
And just explain, regardless of what it was. Maybe I'm going through a lot. Maybe my family's going through a lot. And it came out of a bad place. And I'm in a bad place. We've all been there.
Yeah, 100%.
But this is your time to be...
you're a restaurant owner in a pandemic. Dude, you're in a bad place.
Faux real.
Okay?
You already told the one dude you shut down early because of a pandemic.
I also want this noted. Anybody who takes the time out of their day sometimes to leave a bad review, I'm just going to say this for you, guy. I already hate them. Like, I already checked, like,
I'm not even reading it.
I know.
Know
I hate
that.
it. I hate it.
You got 2 gals right
Unless
here.
the only time I've ever really reviewed things, and I mean this dead ass, was my kids' preschools.
Yeah, or hair. Hair
Yeah.
for me.
Well, product hair. We're talking.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it. The whole point is, though, is you cannot while out with the general public like that when they're leaving honest feedback. Confirmation times. Dude, getting cold fries sucks ass. Whether you're from California, Nevada, or Florida, bro.
No one likes a cold fry.
Cold fry sucks ass.
No one likes a cold fry. Nobody likes a cold fry. But you know what? There has been times in this world where I've been so angry and the person came at me with a fucking apology that I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Turn that attitude right upside down.
It really does.
I was like, you know what?
Diffused.
Yeah, I'm actually like, you know what? Let me buy you a drink. Let me get you a burger.
100%.
So there is a time to always, forgiveness is, it's never too late to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end it on that note. And I'm just going to say, this is the time, if you have grandchildren, children, whatever, any friends who you represent out in this, because again, friends, I don't want to be friends with somebody who's out in this community acting wild. I'll be like, bitch, I don't know you. Don't sit too close.
Well,
this is your time
not
to
when you own
take
a
it
business,
back.
and I come from entrepreneurs, and I have a business myself, and the things I wouldn't do, even if I wasn't even going to service that certain clientele anymore, things I wouldn't do to want to be maintained respectful in my community. It means a lot. So I'm sorry for whatever you're going through, especially I think it's pretty obvious. I gotta give you that. Oof. But dude, wilding out like that
is not great. And
if you need to blow up some steam, you watch Cajun Justice.
Yeah, maybe a little Married at First Sight.
And you know,
Australia.
if you want to move on down to the bayou,
I won't try that accent.
You want to move on down to the bayou? Because of my daddy say.
Okay, so before we wrap up tonight, I do want to tell you that since I haven't seen you, I have done a ton of research. Okay, I've done a. First of all, I don't even like where your attitude's going right now. Okay, I'm gonna Yelp review you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna Yelp you. Mm-hmm. I heard you, so I did do some research because I do like answering your questions because I don't like when you spin out. You were pretty spun out last week, so and I don't like that. So I did some hot, and I mean I spent 4 hours. So I'm gonna give you the condensed version. Okay, number 1, the law states when it comes to BDSM. Okay, the law states this. If it doesn't matter what you signed, it doesn't matter what you all agreed to. The law is very clear. And I believe there are no states. And if there are, there is one, but I could not find the county because no one was brave enough to list it. And I went on to, I just want to tell you the kind of research I did.
Yes.
I put out a Twitter. I said, if you are into BDSM, please contact me. Specifically this specific group, because I am curious. I did a lot of reading online. I even went onto a BDSM for Dummies. I also went onto Craigslist, where there is a forum, a community. And I went onto the BDSM, specifically the consent to non-consent. I went on there.
Okay,
I created an account. I'm pretty sure I'm on a list because you have to use your real name. And they don't put it out there, but you have to use it so they know that you're 18. And if you try to traffic someone, they can... So I just want to let you know, I mean this.
Thank you. Yes.
I did some serious research. I talked to a lot of people. Then I also went on to a whole 2 statutes I read. And again, very clear. So it doesn't matter what you sign. If you say or I say, yes, but regardless, I wanted to stop, the law's like, whoever told first. So if the male comes forward and says, dude, I told her I did not want to do this, boom, clink, clink. And if she says it now, does that mean they're going to jail? Not necessarily. Now, if the person says, I just said stop, and we kind of kept going, but obviously I signed up for this. Typically they get a fine, and they would do maybe like 9 months of community service, or they've got to do some sort of probation. There's only been 2 or 3 that I read that were pretty bad, where the person was like, I wanted him to stop. I was like, no, for real though, safe word, safe word, safe word. Also, I was actually really impressed by the forums and the women and men, because I had a few men reach out to me who were like, oh no, this is why you have code words, and this is why she was so upset, because you do have the aftercare, and there is all of these things that go into it, the Snuggies, all that shit you were talking about. They were very clear. They're like, it is bad manners, and in our groups, we do share those folks. So we're like, nope, they're a bad seed, get off our forum. So they actually within their own community do not tolerate that sort of behavior. But one guy did tell me, he goes, it is a very slippery slope. So we actually tell people to not engage in that far of kink. They do not like the word kink, by the way. They do not like that word.
What word do they like?
I have it written down somewhere, but they do not care for that. If you Google it, it's pretty clear. But they said, we really do not necessarily align ourselves with it. Do a lot of us like it and engage in it? Yes. But a lot of us usually engage in it with people who have done it before, and someone can vouch for them, in other words. So you've got someone who's like, I did this with them before. They were great. Kind of a Yelp, if you will, for BDSM. So see, sometimes Yelp is good.
I was going to say, I actually probably would appreciate a little review.
Just a little, and that's what I thought too. I was like, that actually wouldn't hurt. No pun intended. I mean, if it's too hot,
the fact
get
that
out of the
said,
kitchen.
You were talking to what I assume to be doms, and they said bad manners. Makes me want to fall off this chair.
Oh, I was in it once I got in. Oh, I was.
I
was in it. And then there was one woman who told me, she said, yes, you can sign the forms, but everyone is very aware that if this were to go to court, you would be held liable. Like, we are all very aware on both sides, regardless if it's a group activity, 2 people, whatever it is. Typically, you are all aware that this piece of paper you're signing means fucking nothing.
Well, then why do they do it?
Because she
just
said...
parameters of them.
Well, because in their community, they're actually judged much harsher. So if you say, listen, I had an agreement with this person. We said we were going to do X, Y, and Z. She said that they would provide this aftercare. And I mean, when I was reading, I was just like blown away. Because I do like to be informed, and I don't like to talk about something that I don't know. And she was like, it does mean something in our little community. She goes, it's very similar to swingers, right?
Yeah.
So if you say you're going to swing and you're like, we're going to swap partners or whatever it is, there's an agreement that once this interaction is done, then that's it. You're not contacting my husband. I'm not contacting you, or vice versa. None of those things are happening. She goes, and it really can detriment your standing in the community, in our community, when you act this way. She goes, so please know that we do not encourage this behavior. We, although might be a little bit different, we do take it very seriously. And our ultimate goal is to have a good time. We are not trying to...
Oh, we know they're having a good time.
Yeah. And she also said that, because I said, well, I have a question. Because my friend was very rude. Because I said to her that I like to be tickled. She said, no. And they said, oh no, we have tickle parties? I said, well, I don't want that. I want to be very clear. I think we're going down a different road. I'm over here to the left. Like, I want to be with my husband, and I want him to tickle me, but I don't want like other people to tickle me.
She goes, like a sexual tickle?
Not like a tickle, because I don't like being tickled. I don't enjoy that. But like a caress tickle.
Oh, like a tickle, like a... Why did you even bring that up to her?
Well, she was very intrigued. She was
doesn't know what
she said it's called edging. Mm-hmm. When you have someone and you tickle them and they really like it, or caress them, but you don't engage in any sort of sexual play. She said there are people who actually will pay to have somebody do this because they like the buildup. And she goes, and there are sometimes when they never have sex, that the person enjoys himself and gratifies and eventually has an orgasm, and they've never had any sort of intercourse. I went down the rabbit hole. It was very interesting. So I just wanted to give you an update. I did do some research because I do like to know what's going on. And I do want our listeners to not think that we're just wild out here just speaking out of our asses. But yes, there is. I would say
that was a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was really down the rabbit hole myself. I did not join forums because I did. Well,
how else was I going to get to talk? Because I wanted to ask. I was really also. I do want to tell you though. I was also very polite. I said, "This is. I would never use
research purposes only.
This is only research.
Asking for a friend."
Actually, what I told them was, I was honest. I said, "I have a podcast, and I don't want to misrepresent or say something that we don't know." And
can we get a clarification from anybody? Maybe we can Twitter it out. Swindle a tweet about why they don't like the term kink?
Because to them it's derogatory. Kink to them, if I'm understanding properly, ensues that this is just like quirky and it's just something they do spontaneously. Like they're like, no, it's serious. We take it serious. There's contracts. We talk about it. There's beforehand. We think about it. There's a whole thing involved. And this isn't some fly-by-night thing that we do. We take it seriously. And they don't like the fact that movies and shows make fun of it by being like, ooh, I've got these kinky handcuffs and ooh. And they said they don't also like how people in the movie industry kind of villainize them as sick, perverted people. They were like, yeah, we get that like Army Hammer's out here wild trying to bite bitches, but like
take ribs.
All of us do support and we do respect other people's boundaries, and we're not out here like animals, like predators. And that was their biggest thing, is they did not want to be viewed as predators. And some of the women were like,
they seek each other out in a very protected community. I don't.
Yes.
That. Jokes aside,
seriously,
I do respect
I understood that. And she also said that she did not want, she said, because when you're a woman and you engage in BDSM and you share that with people, they tend to be like whore, slut, cunt, slore. But if it's a man who's doing it, it's like, yeah, you fucking all but you tying him up. And the men were saying that they don't like that either. They're like, this is a respectful thing that we've all agreed to do. And I'm not trying, like, whatever I'm doing, this person's agreed to.
No, yeah.
So I'm not sitting there tying them up.
I don't doubt that.
So I just wanted to share that. Just
and
an update.
I don't,
just an update.
I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the nuances, if you will. I
really did, though, want to know, and I did want to make sure that we didn't
I know.
disrespect a community that, for whatever reason, this is their thing. And it's not for me to disrespect somebody or say it's right or wrong, but I did want to understand it. And the law thing did interest me because, again, I had read something about it, but not enough to be on here speaking about it. I was glad to know that they said most of the judicial systems, it doesn't matter what state you're in, if someone comes forward and says this went real left, they hold them accountable.
Good.
Depending on the severity of the situation.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. Like, no tickle fights. Those don't count.
Yeah. If you see me in public, please don't tickle me. I don't want anyone to misread this. I don't enjoy being tickled. I do enjoy a caress from my husband. I don't need a stranger to caress me. Don't grab my braids. Don't touch my shoulder. If I go to the bank, don't caress my hand as I grab my ATM card back. Like, just don't touch me. But I just wanted to share that. Like, I don't think it's super out of the box, but we're all into something. But I also don't want my ass cheeks bit. So that's just me. So
Same.
Yeah. And homeboy, with your restaurant, there's a couple reasons. I'm not going to say your restaurant name and your name. And that is because I'm really hoping that you will redeem yourself. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm hoping you will redeem yourself. And I do believe that people do have an opportunity to make it up and show people that there's a different side of them. And I'm sure deep down you can be a good person, but show the world that. Because right now we're all looking at it and you look like a fucking cock.
Well, and another reason why I thought it was important at all. Not to mention your name and restaurant was to hold up the validity of our argument.
Oh,
I mean, I didn't want it to collapse in on myself saying all these things directly about your place of business and yourself in a direct attack the way you decided to do with your consumers, because I find that obviously, as we've spoken out very publicly, very distasteful.
See what she did there? See what she did? Yeah.
I wish you the best. I hope things
maybe
look
get
up
into
for
some
you.
BDSM. Maybe you should go to a tickle fight.
Maybe you just need to be in a good old fashioned tickle fight.
Yeah.
Blow off some steam.
Yeah, so we'll get a little loosey goosey. Someone's got a little tension built up from the old pandemic express. Anyways, guys, we love you per usual. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys know our website is thehatejournals.com. Actually, I've made some changes to it, so go check it out. Our Instagram is thehatejournals. Our Twitter is hatejournals. Blimey. Happy St. Patty's Day.
I hate it when
Happy St. Patty's Day. It's a happy blimey. It's a 4-leaf clover.
You probably have the worst accents of anyone I've ever heard.
The hate journals.
Let me see. What is a good? Who's Irish that we know? Like, I just need to envision the actor for a second, and then I could immediately do the accent.
And also, we've hung out and met and been around Irish people on multiple occasions. Like, I mean, from Ireland.
Okay, well, that was different because
Yeah, but still, you'd think I'd be able to kind of.
no.
It's just not great at it. You guys have a killer St. Patrick's Day. Mm-hmm. That weather's gonna be bomb. Get yourself a green beer, chill out, relax. Summer's coming. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.